Funny, but truer words could never have been spoken. My parents, to my complete dread, would be called to the school each year for parent-teacher conference time. When they attended for me, they heard things like, no focus, and he has the ability to do great but lacks willingness and effort, and all he wants to do is clown around. The killer line was, he is not working to his full potential. When I moved on to junior high, I was faced with all the usual stuff that kids are faced with, including but not limited to acne, girls, more school, sports, and alcohol. School is a perfect place for me just to be me, except for the fact that classes interfere with my socializing time. Puberty. Shit is sprouting out all over me. Hair is where it didn't used to be. Oh, I've been struck with puberty. Raging hormones are engulfing me. I was 4 foot, now I'm 6'3". Oh, I've been struck with puberty. In the midst of puberty and all that comes with it. Oh, skip.
Oy vey, not the bar mitzvah.
I, being Jewish, had to go through all that while performing my bar mitzvah in front of classmates and family. As if it wasn't bad enough, I had to stand up and sing an entire Shabbat service in Hebrew off-key, but I had to do it wearing a pumpkin-colored suit, followed by the tribute to Old Glory, the American flag ensemble that still gives me nightmares today. The only upside of this nightmare was the fact that after the service, there was an evening celebration where alcohol was served, and it was the first time I tried it. I got drunk, threw up, woke up hungover, and even with all the unpleasantness, seemed to find something that could quiet the voices. I remember playing spin the bottle and learning to slow dance, which initially we thought was dancing the same way you dance fast in slow motion. I remember semi-formal dances where you went to pick up your date who'd spent the entire day getting ready, only to have someone like me show up and say, hey, what happened to your head? I went to school just to socialize and never picked up a book, and still managed to get C's and an occasional D or two, along with warning notices that I was supposed to bring home to let my parents know I was in danger of failing whatever class it was. I either hid them under the bed or in the closet or forged my mom's signature, only delaying the inevitable. And so life went on until the summer of my 16th year. As my older brother and I hit high school, he drank beer and I was introduced to marijuana. As it turns out, weed and I would form a very close friendship that lasted quite a few years. See, back then it wasn't sold by the milligram, it didn't cost $40,000, and you could actually speak, laugh, and function after you smoked it. There were only two kinds: Rice Krispie, which cost $1 a joint, and snap, crackled, and popped when you smoked it, and Good, which cost $2 a joint and came with names like Maui Wowie or Panama Red or Acapulco Gold. As my older brother started adding weed to his beer drinking parties, I started adding beer to my pot smoking gigs, and it was at this time that my parents solicited the child observation services of the mother of a narcotics officer. We'll just call her Detective P. She was an absolute narc. No, seriously, her son was an FBI agent. That woman went through everything. The first time she watched us, she presented my parents, the entire collection of the year's unsigned warning notices, which caught me a very lively chat with Ma and Pa. On one of her search and destroy missions, she found my 24-inch bright red acrylic bong. My older brother had stashed it in his bedroom, and Detective P had found it and restashed it. He didn't know it was gone. I didn't know it was gone. Mom and Dad were due home from their trip, and I, as usual, had just completed an average day in high school. My average daily regimen consisted of the following: 7 a.m., wake up. 7:30 a.m., wake up again. 7:35 a.m., meet best friend to walk uphill both ways to school. 7:36 a.m., smoke weed. 7:37 a.m., get picked up by friends who have cars and more weed. 7:38 a.m., smoke weed. 8 a.m., eat donuts. 8:30 a.m., something with numbers, I think. 9:30 a.m., something with books. 10:30 a.m., leave to smoke weed. 11:30 a.m., return for lunch. 11:40 a.m., leave to smoke weed. 1 p.m., frisbee throwing. 2:10 p.m., adjourn. I really did put the high in high school. I was out of school more than I was in it and spent more time throwing a Frisbee than studying. And I have to say, there is no greater way to kill a buzz on after blowing weed and tossing a disc than to see your old man's car out in front of a high school. Dad said he should have got my diploma because he was there more than I was. Anyway, back to our story.